she said, just something exciting. And I said, and any budget? And she said, no. So quite a challenge anyway, but we've met it with glee. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're planning specifically from a Norfolk perspective or a Norfolk-wide perspective. I've got something here in my, sorry, I've got this blank screen in front of me, but anyway, I'll carry on. And tell you a little bit about the tributes that we're organizing. What I really want to focus on this evening is the website that we're commissioning and how you can make use of that website. So the bulk of this evening's presentation is really going to be about that. But I will start by explaining to you what we feel our function is here as the Lieutenancy, and then a little bit about the tributes that we're laying on. Our primary function, we feel here, is to facilitate everyone's enjoyment of this great event, this fantastic celebration of 70 years of service, unmatched, really, unparalleled. And what we want to do is to work with you all, the parishes, the councils, and all those who are operating at the national level, to make sure that everyone in the county has as much access to information about what's going on, so that they can participate and enjoy the celebration. As I've said, we've organized 3 specific tributes of our own. There's an arts-based one, which is entitled A Royal Salute. That's being organized to be performed for 2 days, the end of 2 days at the Royal Norfolk Show. This is a very exciting program, which is going to involve up to maybe even more than 1,000 of our young people in the county, singing and dancing and creating music. It's being run by the Norfolk Music Hub, together with Norca and Sistema, and is being directed by Peter Wilson, one of my fellow deputy lieutenants and a former director of the Royal Norwich Theatre Royal at Norwich. Music from across the Commonwealth and the United Kingdom. It's going to be a performance of up to about 30 minutes, and we'll end with a very loud and full rendition of the national anthem. Access to that performance at the Royal Norfolk Show will be free, and we're really hopeful that lots of people will turn up, because entry to the Norfolk Show happens at 4 o'clock without charge, to enable particularly the families and friends of those who are performing to come along and see the show. As I said, up to 1,000 participants of all ages from across Norfolk, but particularly huge engagement from schools and young youth organisations. So we're really encouraged by that. The second tribute that we're laying on is we're commissioning 4 new walking and hiking trails. This is by way of a sort of an environmental tribute. It links with the themes of the Jubilee: access to the natural world, exercise, outdoor experience, well-being, and environmental awareness. There are going to be 4 routes, one from Hunstanton to Dersingham, another from Gresson Hall to Dereham, a third from Great Yarmouth to Lowestoft, and a 4th from Gayton to Westacre. And for these 4 trails, we're particularly grateful for the support of the Norfolk County Council, who are in the process of effectively completing these trails. And they'll do that during the course of the year. The trails will come on track, as I say, during the course of the year, probably more towards late summer. And they will be trails which will endure. The other organisation we need to thank enormously, so far as this trail is concerned, is the Westacre Estate, because they're giving us access to previously areas which have not been accessible to the public. This is the route through from Gayton to Westacre, and takes in new areas of rewilding and interesting, very, very interesting countryside, all the way through from Gayton through to Castle Acre via West Acre. So that's the second tribute. And the third tribute, and the details of those routes will be available on the slideshow, which will be circulated in due course by Jeremy. Can I just mention that we've got an embargo on the detail of the information until the 5th of February. So I'd be grateful if you would keep that, as it were, confidential for the time being through to the 5th of February, that being the date of the 6th of February, which is the date of the Queen's accession and effectively the 70th anniversary itself. The third tribute that we're organizing is by way of an award scheme. This is to be an inclusive challenge program for the young and the young at heart. So it covers all ages. It's to encourage learning about and celebration of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee through self-chosen activities, individual or in a group, and is designed to promote an achievement, self-reliance, participation, enjoyment, and a contribution to Norfolk life. Again, there will be more details about this in the slideshow, but then will become available on the website as and when we make that website go live. So those are the three tributes: the arts tribute, the great music extravaganza at the Royal Norfolk Show, 4 new trails cutting across the great part of Norfolk. That's I think I've mentioned those. I think I did mention the Great Yarmouth to Lowestoft route, down that coastal route there. And so the trails are spread across Norfolk. In due course, we're hoping that the County Council will help us open trails in each of the separate district council areas. But you will imagine that commissioning these trails takes a bit of time. Right, so without further ado, and really what I want to focus on now is the website, because it's on the website that we're inviting you to effectively load up the plans that you have for each of your separate parishes. I realize that they may be in different stages of planning at the moment. The website itself will become available in a sort of basic form on the 5th of February. Chris is going to show it to you in a minute, where you'll be able to register an interest. The website, we believe, will become live at the beginning of April. And by that time, we will then have been able to populate it with much more information about what is being planned across the county. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Chris for the moment just to talk you through the website and so that you can see how you can make a contribution to the content on that website. Chris.
Thanks, James. Can everyone see this?
Can I also just mention, this is Chris Donaldson, introduce him, Brand Experience, who are gifting this website to us. Huge thanks to Brand Experience. Anyway, over to you, Chris.
Thanks, James. So this is a prototype of the website. So this is an interim stage that we go through before we actually build the site itself, just to bring our flat designs to life a bit, broadly show the look and feel of the site and areas of functionality. So everything you see here is for position only. It's just placing images and text, which will be replaced in the actual build as we develop the content. So this is the initial homepage, the landing page where visitors will reach first, with an introduction to the site and background moving image and video content to reinforce the link with Norfolk. We have our main navigation at the top here. I should note this site will be completely responsive, so this will respond to iPads and mobiles, various devices. But this is the desktop view, obviously, you're seeing here. This is the every page of the site. So
you're breaking up.
I'm sorry?
You're breaking up, apparently, Chris. So if you take it slowly.
I'll take it a bit slower, yeah. So these are the three main core activities that we'll be taking part.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Can everybody else hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I think that might be an issue with that one person, so I'll crack on. So these are the three main activities: our events page, tributes page, which I'll come to in a second, and then the Queen's Canopy and the beacons. These are slightly different because they have dedicated national sites already, so we'll be introducing those and then linking out to those sites. So moving down the home page, these are our three main activities, as James has just illustrated, so we're giving them sort of pride of place on the home page and link through to those respective pages. The What's On, which is sort of upcoming events, the latest events, a quote from Lady Janet, a link to the tribute page where we hope members of the public will have their own tributes. We may well add more links here and social media feeds. And then we have our supporters, which again, these logos are just for position at the moment. That sponsorship piece of work is ongoing as we speak. So I won't go into massive amount of detail on these pages because the content isn't in place yet, but as James indicated, this will be an introduction to the Royal Salute, some details about the show and how people attend. Jubilee trails, background to the trails, maps, illustrations, directions for people, and they can download and follow those when they get to the area. Then the award scheme, again, instructions to the scheme, some suggested areas how you'd like to take part, and then we have the application, the online application mechanism, which people can apply through there. If I just skip to tributes, this is where we hope people will submit their own. There'll be an online form which they'll access from the bottom here. That will come through to us. We'll monitor those and then publish them on the site, and we can edit them if we need to. And then the events. This is the hub of, we hope will be the hub of all Jubilee related events in the county. So there's a map view and a list view. The map view is a Google map, so you'll be able to interact with this, zoom in, zoom out, navigate around the region, and map pins will be placed wherever there's events. These are color coded, so you can see, we've got the different types here just for illustration purposes, the beacons, services, and other events. When you click on a map pin, it will bring up details of the event, the title of the event, location, date, and associated image, and then this link will take you to the organizer's website for more information and booking if that's applicable. Then list view is exactly the same data, but just displayed chronologically. This, we've just got June, July here. As we add more events here and as this gets busier, we'll almost certainly add filters to the top of the page so you can filter down to a month or a day and get an idea of what's on. Again, links out to the organisers' websites. And then the important bit is how you actually submit your event. So there'll be links around the site. And if you click on that, it will bring up the online form. And this will contain all the data types, all the fields that we need to publish that event. So obviously the name of the event, the location, the date, a short description, the URL that your website has more information on there, an optional event image, and then contact details, which we won't display on the site, but that's just in case we've got any queries about the event. You will submit that. That'll go into our CMS system, content management system, which we use to administer the website. We'll pick it up this end, review it, and then publish it on the site. And then after the fact, if there's any changes that need to be made to the event, you can just contact the team and we can make those live on the website. So I hope that gives you a good idea of what we're planning. Back to you, James. On to
Thank you, Chris. I think it would be really helpful. As I know, it's realised probably rather difficult for you all at this stage to decide whether or not you will be able to, as it were, participate on the site. Chris has shown you how you can do that. But if on the web chat now if you were or might be interested, you could just record your name, the position you hold, and the parish you represent with an email address. That will be the beginnings of a database for us to keep in touch with you and to let you know what we're doing and what's going live. So I'd hope to have then either that or through Jeremy himself, the ALC, as it were, keep in touch with you about developments. So the important part of all this is that we're keen to facilitate, as I said at the beginning, everyone's enjoyment of this celebration, to make sure that in one place, using the website, there's a single point of access to everything that's going on locally, across the county and nationally, including all the events that are happening in London, the beacons we're going to hear about from Bruno in a moment, and even the Platinum Pudding Award scheme, perhaps. Anyway, and indeed, there's some very exciting events that we've heard about that's happening at Sandringham this year as well, and we would hope that those are available as well on our website. So there it is, single point of access. Please, really interested to know whether this is of interest to you in your questions and chats here. Realize some of you maybe not so keen to publish exactly what you're happening in your parish, but others will be. So it's really so much up to you. Jeremy, I think that probably concludes. I'm very happy to take questions about the specific events that we're planning, none of which are going to compete date-wise with anything I think you're laying on. The busy weekend over June, we've left free for everyone else to organise their own parties. Jeremy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, James. But what I was going to do is introduce Bruno to talk through really his plans, that what he's organising for the Jubilee celebrations, including the beacon. So, and I think that will also allow you to put in the chat anything, as I say, what you'd like to James, whether you've got any questions or the details that he's asked for. So, Bruno, if you could, I'd like you to, if you could please, to go through what you're busily organising at the present.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, well.
It's just that all of the chat I've heard so far has been broken. So some of it I heard, some of it I didn't really hear. But as long as you can hear me, that's all that matters. Well, the day will start, and this is not just Norfolk. This is the whole of the UK, Channel Islands, Isle of Man, overseas UK territories, and the capital cities of the Commonwealth countries. Did you get that? Because I had something funny come up on my screen.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, okay. At 2 o'clock, we're going to be having town criers, and the largest number of town criers taking part in this event are based in Norfolk. But we're going to be having town criers in the UK and those countries overseas undertaking the proclamation that's been written for the event, basically announcing the start of the weekend, but also announcing the lighting of the beacons in the evening. And those town criers will be undertaking this from locations of their own choice within their local communities. And then at 9:35 p.m. Throughout the UK and again around the world, and even countries that are not associated with the Commonwealth, like France, Germany, Italy, Spain, we're going to be having pipers play a tune called Jubilee, again from locations of their choice, at 9:35 p.m. local time in their country, as part of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee beacons. And then at 9:40 p.m, we're going to be having buglers or fanfare trumpeters playing, or cornet players playing Majesty, again, another special tune that's been written for the occasion to announce the lighting of the beacons at 9:45 p.m. And at the moment, we've got 45 beacons confirmed in Norfolk. And as you know, we're looking for 70, with each beacon representing a year in the life of the Queen's 70-year reign. But we'll be having beacons lit across the whole of the UK, again, Channel Islands, Commonwealth, Isle of Man, and overseas UK territories, and the capital cities of the Commonwealth countries. And then coinciding with that, we're going to be having a song, the Commonwealth Song, sung by choirs, community choirs, church choirs, and other choirs, again from locations of their choice at 9:45 as the beacons are being lit. And what we've done is we've coordinated through Commonwealth Resounds, a very good Norfolk charity who's got a lot of experience in this field throughout the Commonwealth. We ran a competition to find the winning song. And the winning song was written by two people, one from Nigeria writing the music, and the other one from Australia who wrote the lyrics for the event. And we would very much, if you've got this musical event at the Norfolk show, it would be nice if the choirs at the Norfolk show actually sung this song at the Norfolk show, because that would be, I would say, its first public hearing of this song before it's sung on the 2nd of June next year. So there's quite a lot going on the 2nd of June, starting at 2 o'clock, going through to 9:45 p.m, involving communities of all sizes. Our principal beacon to be lit in Norfolk will be lit on the Sandringham estate, of course. But we've got other Holcombe Hall lighting them, Great Yarmouth Borough Council, towns and parishes throughout the county are already signing up. And as I said, we're looking for 70 throughout Norfolk.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruno. Bruno, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There was a question, Bruno. Someone's asked, they thought the beacons, could you just clarify the time the beacons being lit? Someone said about 9:15.
No, we had to change the time to 9:45. And all those who have already agreed to take part have been told and notified of the new time. And anybody joining the project since the time was changed are also being notified. The guide to taking part, as you know, is up on our website.
Yeah.
And we would like to put the guide up on your website, but the guide is updated at the end of each month as more and more people, not just from Norfolk, but from the whole of the country and around the world, join the event. So it'd be a case of putting it up on your website, then sending it to you at the end of each month, because it's been updated so people are fully aware of the updated information. The only beacons that we don't acknowledge on the website or even in the guide are those who want to participate, such as farms, some stately homes, castles, that want to take part but don't want the public attending. They want to be part of the celebration, but with just family, friends, and those who work on farms or country estates.
Just on that, I mean, Bruno, we'll pick up the Norfolk beacons, such as they want the public to know about, as it were, and they'll be pinned on the map. I
mean, I'm happy to send you an updated list of Norfolk beacons at the end of each month.
Perfect.
Those that want to be made public, so that you can then put them on the map if you're happy to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's exactly what that map's designed for, so that we pick up all events that people want to make public on that interactive map and in the event schedule.
Bruno, if you could just clarify to everyone listening and watching how they sign up. So we've had a question: how do they sign up for lighting a beacon and registering a beacon?
Well, they can either they can go to the website, which is www.queensjubileebeacons.com, and they can then register either on the website or through the guide to taking part.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruno. And James, if I could just ask a question as well, which has appeared in the chat. And someone's asked whether there's any grants or funding, and I know Claire has sent out a link to some of the funding, but is there anything else available? Or
Claire's put up the one link that that we're aware of. The National Lottery Fund did have some a grant to be bid for, but that closed a couple of weeks ago. I know, because they put in a bid for something to cover our costs. I don't know whether we've been successful or not.
It was ridiculous, really. They only launched it about 6 weeks before they closed it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's always possible. Keep an eye open, because they might put one up again. I don't know. But that so the link, the Arts Council link, which Claire's put on the chat line, is the only one I'm aware of at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah.
Has anybody else got any questions, or anybody got some questions they'd like to ask? Obviously, we've got literally the experts here this evening, and if you've got any questions, we can quickly sort of answer them. And if you could just anyone raise your hand. It's hard to actually see across. If you could look across, well, Dan. I think Jill would like to ask a question. I think, and yeah, go ahead, Jill. If you can unmute, please.
I just wondered if the beacons were being supplied, or whether we can buy them.
Now, if you go to the website, and which I hope the council, Norfolk County Council, through the Lord Lieutenant's office, will publicise, and go to the guide to take part, you'll see the 3 styles of beacons that are being used for the occasion.
Okay. Thank you.
There is the traditional bonfire beacon. There is the beacon brazier, which is the one that you can see. There's many throughout Norfolk already on top of tall wooden poles, and been there since the last Jubilee. And there's also a gas fuel beacon, which we've developed for other locations as well. And they can be purchased directly from the manufacturer, because this whole event is completely self-funding and non-profitable.
Okay, thank you, Bruno.
So we'll put up your link when our website goes live, but that's early April, so I can't make any promises before then.
Okay, George, you had a query or question? You're on mute, George. George, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, there are grants available through the Norfolk Community Foundation via the Arts Council, or vice versa, from 2,500 up to 10,000 for events which involve the arts, which I would have thought, certainly the first initiative of the Lieutenancy would qualify. So we got the information through from the North Norfolk District Council only 2 days ago.
Okay.
And I've already downloaded the form.
Thank you for sharing that, George. There's a question in the chat as well at the moment. If the mayors had a particular role and the chairs had a particular role, I don't know if you could answer that, James.
If the mayors and chairs have a particular role in any of our trips
over the 4 days, I think was the question, or the query.
Well,
what is the role of the chair or stroke mayor during the 4 days?
The answer is it's very much up to them, I think. Each council and borough will, I'm assuming, organising their own events. I know that King's Lynn's got quite a schedule set. So it's really down to those councils or boroughs to run their own, and presumably that I'm rather assuming the civic authorities are making their own plans. But we spoke to them this afternoon, and again in the same vein, we were inviting them to let us know what they were doing, so we can post that on the website. But the Lieutenancy have no particular plans to be involved in the borough or district celebrations apart from promoting them.
Okay, thank you, James. I can't see any other questions. Oh, sorry, I've got Terry Kitt has asked. If you can unmute Terry, please.
Yes, just on the grants schemes, I spoke to one of our district councillors in South Norfolk, and he said they're currently finalising details of possible grants for the celebrations, and they'll be sent out to parish clerks shortly.
Okay, and that was South Norfolk, wasn't it? You said,
South Norfolk.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, if I could just interject there, through the generosity of Norfolk Nulk, you know, all the information regarding the beacons has been sent to every town and parish clerk throughout Norfolk. Am I correct?
Yes.
So there is no excuse that there won't be any parish or town clerk in any Norfolk council that has not been informed about how their town or parish can get involved in the beacons for the last, must be 9 months now.
Okay, okay.
So if anybody says they haven't received it, it hasn't been passed on.
Yeah, thanks. James, were you going to do an update, James, or do you plan to have another event similar to this, or to go along, or do people? What are the next steps?
If invited, I'm very happy to bring an update along exactly where we've got to, the more precise plans. As I say, the slides that are available, which I avoided putting up on the screen this evening because it takes longer to read them than it does for me to speak through them. It gives quite a lot of detail about what's involved, particularly around the award scheme. I'd encourage all the parishes really to encourage the young and the young at heart. This is a wholly inclusive thing, to engage with the award scheme. The award itself will consist of a certificate and a very finely produced badge, which people can wear with pride when they've completed all the activities. So it's there to encourage people to actually get actively involved in what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm also hugely encouraged, looking at the chat, to the response to my request for names and emails of those who would like to be kept updated on the website.
Okay. I see Caroline's got a hand up. Caroline, if you could unmute.
Thank you. This award scheme, is it suitable for people who are have disabilities?
Yeah.
So all inclusive.
Absolutely, it is very inclusive. There are no specific sort of requirements or standards that have to be met. It's very much a sort of voluntary led inclusive arrangement, and the activities themselves will be very much self-defined, depending on people's ability. So it's there to help and engage and encourage people to get active during the course of the year and engage.
I was particularly thinking about people in wheelchairs.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be completely open to them and perfectly doable by them, whatever their level of ability.
Okay, thank you.
And that applies too to the walks, to the trails as well. A greater part of them are going to be accessible to people of all abilities, and the County Council is doing a lot to ensure that that's the case as well.
James, before I introduce, I asked Joe to ask a question. There's a question appeared on the chat. Are there any plans for Norwich to participate in the big Jubilee lunch mentioned on the Royal website, or will this be left to individual parishes?
Again, I don't. If you're asking me, I don't know the answer to the question of what Norwich is planning itself. I haven't heard. There may be somebody here who knows, but we'll certainly be, pressing them to publish on our website what they're planning to do.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Joe, I saw you. If you could unmute, please.
The award scheme, just wondering about the format of that. So what you've said sounds a little bit along the same lines as the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme. Would that be a similar comparison?
Yeah, it is, but it's probably a scale down from the Duke of Edinburgh scheme. Indeed, the Patrick Peel, who's running this, opens it by saying, "Think Duke of Edinburgh award scheme," but it's not as demanding. And indeed, it's very much self-judged and self-attested. And we're just relying on people's honesty and so forth. You'll be able to log on the website, through the website, as Chris demonstrated. What you've done, and that will be recorded and then assessed, and then the awards will be distributed.
Thank you,
Very much hoping that schools, those of you involved with schools, are going to get involved in that as a unit, encourage their pupils to engage in it as well. And we've had very positive reaction from across the county on that.
Okay. A question here as well, James. I know I keep fielding these questions yourself, but a question here is: do we wait for the website to launch to get information about participating in the award scheme? So
yeah. Sorry, I should have made that clear. The award scheme is very much driven by the website, so you can't start yet. It will happen from the beginning of April, and the reason we've gone for the April is that Chris has got a lot of work to do to set it up, and we also need, we can't launch a website without a degree of information to put on it. So I think it's a question of populating the website with the detail, and then Chris doing his work. The award scheme will run from the moment the website is launched. Yeah.
Thank you.
Would you accept my apologies? I've got to go because I'm now 5 minutes late for my next meeting.
Thank you, Bruno.
Is that
all
right?
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Bye-bye.
Okay. Just to, there's a couple of questions which have come in as well, which is, I think, regarding NALC, etc. What we will do is publish this this chat as well. So, and any questions answered, I'm sure myself or James or Chris will actually come back to yourselves. So, as I said, what we normally do is we'll put a combination of, as I say, the chat, the presentation which James has spoken about, and also the recording of this. It will be sent on a link to yourselves. And as I said, hopefully tomorrow or Friday anyway, I'll get it off to yourselves. So, as I said, rest assured, we're here to sort of answer your questions, etc. I'm just doing a final check to see if there's any other questions or any points anyone wanted to raise. Terry, if you can just unmute.
Yes, on the event at the Royal Norfolk Show, will the event be streamed for people who can't make it to get to the show?
I don't know the answer. I have posed that question to Peter, who's organising it, and I think he's got that very much in mind. We are very keen that this show, this great extravaganza, is as available to as many people as possible. That's the whole point of it. So whether we succeed in getting it streamed, requires some research into actually filming it effectively and getting it out, and all the necessary telecommunications ability and so forth. But we will certainly look into that. We're hoping obviously that the number of people will be able to get there. And as I said, entry is free of charge after 4 o'clock. So people will be able to access the showground then. But yeah, streaming, I hope so, is the answer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I should also say that, should I have mentioned social media? We are live on social media now. Platinum Jubilee Norfolk is the hashtag, I think it's called, for those of you who are on social media. So you can follow sort of the postings that we put out on social media, which will develop as we go along and as more information becomes available.
There's just a couple of late questions. Sorry, James. There's just one here. Are there plans to make available the music in a pre-recorded form for those who can't find pipers, buglers, or town criers? That was one question.
That's the music. I think that's the music Bruno was talking about.
That's more for Bruno.
So and you might be able to answer this one. Do we nominate children locally for the RNS dance?
The Royal Norfolk Show dance. Yeah, I mean, Claire, you're closer to the development on the arts side than I am. We're obviously recruiting through schools and organizations, and we've had a huge response from them. Can people nominate directly?
The children are generally being recruited via the schools and the Norfolk Music Hub, which has been contacting schools and getting expressions of interest for joining. We will also, though, be hoping some adults will join the choirs, and there will be an email address that people can email into about getting involved in that way. But I'm not sure about individual children. Clearly, they would need their parents there and parental support if they're not coming through a school. But we're obviously keen to have as many people as possible involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's Rodney. I see that. I would, if somebody's got a child who's particularly keen to get involved and hasn't heard about it through their school, contact the Norfolk Music Hub, I think probably is the answer, and say they really want to take part.
Thank you. Okay, thanks everybody. So what I'm going to do is close the session now. Everyone's happy. I'd like to thank really James, Chris, Bruno in his absence, and also Claire for chipping in there really and for helping and for sharing these exciting plans. I think that they are exciting. I think it's us as leaders of the community, and for you as leaders of the community, really to go out and enthuse your relevant communities, etc. So obviously there's a number of activities, and I've gathered here that the Royal Salute, the Jubilee Trails, the Challenge Award Scheme, the website, which sounds quite interactive and very interesting as well, and obviously the beacons as well, which is a clearly defined thing. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending. As I said, what we'll possibly do, I will speak to James and Claire to see whether we have a follow-up event, etc., which might be useful just to make sure everyone sort of keeps in the loop, etc. As I said, I will send out the slides, the recordings, and the chat, etc., etc. Any questions as well? Perhaps we'll put in some useful links as well that you can actually ask questions if you've got follow-up questions. So again, I'd just like to thank everyone for attending. Just remember, this is our next webinar for Norfolk ALC as part of a 3-part series and it's being presented by Norfolk County Council, and it's regarding countryside access and getting out there in 2022. So I think there's going to be 2 sessions on that, and also a final session literally out in the field. So hopefully many of you will join us for that. As I said, I'd like to thank everyone once again, and have a good evening. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. Thanks, everyone.